All right, let's go ahead and put together our model class. So right click inside of a model, say new, it's going to be Java class, and I'm going to call this forecast. Okay, say okay. And now we need to look at the data that we're receiving and pick out the information that we need. Well, let's see. We need, obviously, we're going to need the location. So we're going to need the city, country, and region. Let's go ahead and get the wind, which means we're going to add the chill, direction, and speed. And of course, so for now, what we're going to do, we're going to get the location, and we are going to also get the condition with all of these attributes, all of these fields. Okay, and of course we're going to get all the forecast. So what I'm going to do, so the first thing we said, what we need, I'm going to go ahead and let's get the location. Go ahead and say private string. Good thing everything is string types. That's very handy. And I'm going to go ahead and say city. Okay. Say private string country, private string region, just in case we need that. And then I'm going to go and pick out then let's go back here. For now, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and get the date, the temp, and the text. This is under condition, okay? Just for us to know, I'm going to say under condition object. So we said it's going to be the date. So I'm going to go say string, private string, date, private string, temp, temperature. Let's call this current temperature, and then private string current weather description. Okay, long names, but they are descriptive, which will help us. Okay, this is going to be the text. Okay, perfect. And then we go to forecast. Okay, see, under forecast object. So what we need here is private. Let's see, we need the date again, because this is going to be different. I'm going to call this a string forecast date. Okay, private string day, call this forecast day, private string forecast high temp. Okay, private string forecast low temp, and then again string forecast weather description. Okay, and that's about it, I think, for our forecast. And for now, why not just get this description HTML, and we may need that. So I'm going to go ahead and say private string description HTML. Okay, just in case we need that. And of course, we can always add more fields as we need. I'm going to go ahead and create getters and setters for all of these. I'm going to select all of them, say OK, and voila, we got all getters and setters and didn't even have to do any typing. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day indeed, folks. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a view pager. Because we're going to be actually getting or inflating this view, the view pager view, from an XML, we have to create an XML that will hold each view from our view page, for our view pager. Let's go to res here. I'm going to go to layout. I'm going to right click, say new. It's going to be just a simple layout. Say layout as such. I'm going to call this, let's call this fragment forecast. Okay, because it's going to be a fragment that will hold a forecast. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to change a few things because I always do this. So instead of a constraint layout, maybe it's time for us to use a relative layout. Why not? Life is too short. We are going to be rebels today. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a card view. In fact, I can just go back here to simplify things and say card view and drop it in there. Okay, there's a card view. Let's go back into our card view and change things accordingly. All right, so let's give our card view an ID. I'm going to say ID. I'm going to call this a card view for the lack of a better name. And for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this 350 dp. And this one's going to be about 210 dp. Okay, it's going to be in the middle over there. And I'm going to give a background color for now. And I want it to be center as such. It looks very good. And for margin top, instead of having like that, I want this actually to be center. Let's say center vertical to true. That way it's in the middle of the screen. I like that much. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's going to be in the middle. Now, because we're talking about inside of a card view here, we can actually change a few other things. Let's add a card elevation here and give it about 12 dp. Okay, see, the moment you do that, we elevate the card, which means it adds a little bit of a shadow there. Okay. Very nice. And so because we want to make sure that this is actually has children, we're going to make it a card view like that. And we're going to start adding children to it. Right? Meaning inside of this, now we're going to add a few things. Well, the first thing we're going to add, because again, remember, so what are we going to do here? We're going to add, there's a lot of information that we're going to add. So remember, this is going to be inflated so that users can swipe left and right. And as they swipe left and right, we are going to populate with information regarding forecast. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add an image view because we love image views, don't we? Image view at the top is going to make it probably 80 dp by 80 dp. We'll see at some point. I'm going to say ID. This is going to be forecast icon ID. Okay. For now, let's give a source. That way, let's give drawable. Let's go to Android drawable. That way we can actually get an icon of some sort. There we go. So it's going to be over there. Okay, obviously we're not going to have a speak now button as an icon, but you'll see in a second. And then what we're going to do, we want this to be actually in the middle. So I'm going to say gravity layout to center horizontal. It's that. There we go. It looks very nice. And then below, what we're going to do, we're going to put a text view. This text view here, let's say wrap content. Okay, give an ID. Let's say forecast temp as such. And I'm going to make sure this is actually, say, gravity. I want this actually below. In order for us to have it below, we need to enclose everything inside here or inside of a relative layout again. That's the thing we need to do. Of course, I'm gonna take everything that we've added now and put it inside, and you will see why. The moment you do that, then we have that flexibility. Okay, of course, this is not going to work anymore because we can say center in parent to true. Because we can now say gravity, center horizontal to true. You can now say layout center in parent. Let's make this, actually, to make this work, we have to make this match parent as such. There we go. And match parent. Perfect. So we want this to be center horizontal to true. There we go. And goes to the middle there. And our text here, we want this to be below our forecast icon ID up. Like this, it's going to be there. Let's give it a little padding of about 10 dp. There we go. And say margin of about 10 dp. Okay, that's good. In fact, let's get rid of the padding. Okay, so this one is going to be forecast temp. Let's give it a text right now that would say temp. Okay, maybe a little size of about 15 sp. Okay, looking good. It's going to show there. And let's put it actually in the middle, center horizontal to be true as well. Be right there in the middle. And because it's temperature, we're going to make it bigger, so about 18 sp. We may change that later, but that's okay for now. And the next thing we're going to do, all right, let's keep going here. The next thing we're going to do, let's add another text view. Make it wrap content again. What do you know? For this one, I'm going to say ID. Let's give an ID. Forecast date text. And let's add text. That way we know exactly which IDs we're talking about. Okay, so this is going to be forecast date text. I want this to be below our forecast temp text. There we go. I'm going to give it a margin right of about 10 sp or 10 dp, that is. Actually, margin left, because I want, let's say layout, margin left. Why did I do margin left like such? Okay, there we go. Give it a margin there. Very cool. Let's give it a text. And this one is going to say something like Monday, November 2017, something like that. Okay, that's what's going to show, and we can always move things around later, but at least now I just want to put things together. That way everything looks decent here. And then I'm going to add another text view. ID, I'm going to say this is going to be forecast. It's going to be high text, like that. And I want this to be below our forecast date text. Give another margin left. Let's get the wrong one, of about 10 SDP. Okay. I'm going to give text size of about 15 SP. Let's give a text that says hi, like that. Okay, looks like we can actually change this to make this better. Replace with Android margin start. There we go. Android Studio is amazing because it actually gives us ideas or tips of how to actually get stuff done. Okay, It says here we should always use string resource, but it's okay. You know that already, but for now we can roll with this. Okay, so, and then I'm going to copy this. In fact, I want this to be in the middle. I'm going to say center horizontal to be true. So I want that in the middle. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this and paste it in. And this is going to be low. Okay, forecast low text. And I want this to actually be below, but I also want it to be to the right of the date text. This is going to be low, of course. In fact, let's see, is it right? No, I want to be to the right. Forecast, there we go. This one here. Okay. Doesn't look like much right now, but you notice it's going to be great, because as we add stuff, we are going to see that the difference there. But for now, let's go ahead and actually give a padding of about 15 SDP. No, we don't need that. Let's give a margin to the left of about 20 dp. There we go. I'm going to do the same to the other one. There we go. So it's coming along pretty well, pretty nicely, looking really good. So next video we'll continue working in our view pager and put it all together so that we can actually start seeing it in action as soon as we can here in our application. Okay?